To create a berm, it's actually not that hard to do. So this here is my little terrain model that I've created and my house. The first step would be just to create a flat surface that I'm just going to position just above my model here. And this will allow me to draw some berms on quickly. Now, alternatively, if you've already drawn your berms within Dynoscape and you have a few contour lines with them, you can do that way. So this I just flipped into parallel projection and also into X-ray view to allow me just to make sure my berms are positioned where I would like them to be. And also I flipped it into top view just to make sure everything's square. And I've activated the free hand draw tool here, which allows me to do a free-formed line. And that's going to create my process of my berm there. You'll need a contour, and depending on how you want to shape your berms, you'll need contours for every foot or every 2 feet. In this case, I'm drawing them at every 2 feet. I'm flipping it back over to regular thing so I can see how the contour lines look. Now, since I don't want a flat plateau on my contour, I've drawn a ridge line across the top. You do not have to have your ridge line perfectly straight like I have in this example. You could actually draw it as an arc or another freeform line, but you just have to offset it up in the vertical axis the amount that you need. So now I've made the whole group as a component or as a group, just so I can isolate it and move it around after I'm done creating the geometry. I'm just going to make sure the hidden line or objects are on, and which may, and also I've entered into the component right now. So this step here is just going to create or remove the bottom layers of the contours. So I've first of all healed the face, double clicked on it so I can actually delete that one particular inner bit so that I can delete the outer side. So depending on the size and height of your model, you may also have to kind of draw an extra contour here like I did, or you might or just get away with it. And again, always make sure you clean up your drawings that I did in that step there. So quick little heal. I just want to make sure that the spots are right. Double click on the surface, delete it, and I'll notice that I do have that small little line. First of all, I had to pick up that ridge line because I forgot to originally select it into it. So I've used the copy and paste in place, which is also found on edit. I'm deleting the outside of my border and also creating any random rogue line segments that are kicking around. Select all my geometry, go up to the make from contours button there, hit it, and there is my berm. So the next step is to position and clean up the berm a little bit. So I've took the berm, placed it onto the terrain model. Now what I'm doing here is copying my terrain model. So Control C, then I'm pasting in place, either edit, paste in place, or Shift V as we set up in the class. Select all the items there, both the topography and the berm, and right click and intersect on the intersect of the selection, and then that way allows you to it merges the two pieces of topography together, creates that nice cut line around it, so you're able to delete the two things, so you can have a perfect line between the two. Just going through, cleaning it up, just deleting my little original contours here that are no longer needed, including the ones on the top, so everything looks nice and smooth. Just double clicking in there, going to grab the terrain model here, make sure it's clean up the outside here with the outside flipping of the edges. So turning on my, first I'm just going to quickly clean up the edge here, and actually I'm just going to hide it. So right clicking on the lines that I've selected and hiding. And due to the fact that the contour and where the cut line is doesn't actually line up that nicely, I'm just having a little bit of difficulty on that cleanup aspect. So quick window select from the upper left to the lower right allows me to select just those line work at the edge, and so I can hide them quickly. And that will avoid any little dark lines between the terrain model and the berm itself if you decide to keep the berm as its own thing. So now I've clicked into the actual terrain model. I've pasted my berm in there, and when I just intersect it there, uh, giving me a warning due to the fact I've already cleaned it up on the other side. If I have left it as the full size berm and did that step earlier, then I would have had it. Typically speaking, you don't really have to cut the terrain model with the berm, but if you want to reduce a little bit of geometry, you can. So I'm just painting the field there. I'm painting my berm. And you'll notice that it looks pretty good, even though the terrain model itself hasn't been cut. Now that's a quick one pasted on the plateau there. Now I'm going to move it over to the other side just to um, show, show you that you can also do it on sloping areas. A lot of the times, as I'm showing here, I do flip back and forth between the two items, hidden geometry off and hidden geometry on. That step there is just grabbing all the geometry and making sure it's doing this smoothing. Now this step I do find you have to do quite a bit, which is the flipping of the edges here. A lot of the times when you have that curved corners on the ends of your berms, you do have to flip the edges over to make them a lot smoother, like I'm doing right here again. So, like they say, the doubles in the details. Sometimes the flipping of the edges here is a little bit of a tedious process, depending on if the areas below the contour has been also flipped. Sometimes you won't be able to flip it that easy. And other times it will be perfectly smooth and quick to do. So, since this is a tutorial, quick little demonstration tutorial, I'm not going to be doing I'm just doing everything really quickly here, so it's not as cleaned up and as smooth and pretty as I normally do for mine. So there you go. We have a nice little berm there. Now onto the one that goes on the hill. So back into my terrain model there, I've placed the berm in place there. Just going to slide it down. Going to rotate it a bit. I'm always tapping the top or the up arrow on the keyboard to make sure that when I'm rotating, it's actually rotating on the blue axis and not any other ones. Position my landform. I selected all the geometry, went right clicked on it and went intersect with faces or with selection to get the cut there, so I can cut everything and make everything nice and smooth along the edges. And I'm painting it. I'm selecting everything, smoothing the edges out, and now I have my terrain model nice and smooth. You can't really see it on certain angles just because of the material color and the light patterns. So I'm just going to quickly go over to my shadows here and adjust my shadows a little bit more extreme and a little bit more later into the day so I can get the longer shadows going across so you can see the berms a bit easier. Now, if you want to place the berm on top of the geolocate snapshot topography, you'll notice that there's a red line around the ounce of it, indicating that it is a locked layer. Just right click on it, go down to unlock, and once that happens, you'll notice the bounding box will turn blue, which represents an edible bounding box. Just double click in it and do the steps as before. Hope that helps. If you do enjoy this tutorial, give it a thumbs up. And if you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comments below. Greatly appreciate it.